Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another episode and a new week of China Update, where we discuss leading political, economic, and geostrategic analysis on the world's #2 economy. My name is Tony. Two quick pieces of housekeeping. This Friday, I will be in Taiwan, and I will be planning a subscriber meetup. So if you're in or around Taipei, I would love to see you. Please send me an email. This is in the description below. If you've already come to one before in the past, you're welcome to come to another. I hope to see you there. Secondly, today's video contains this month's second sponsored feature. We'll cover this later in the video. I'm especially excited about this one, so I look forward to discussing that then. But with all that said, let's jump in. Now, later in the episode, we're going to talk about the economy, but two quick points related to this space. The party's elite central committee began mapping out the country's 15th five-year plan at its four-day fourth plenum meeting, which began today, Monday, and is also expected to highlight the importance of consumption in an economy threatened by persistent deflation. We will be following this closely this week, discussing the salient points as they are released from this fourth plenum. Today also saw the big release of Q3 economic data. The numbers on balance were disappointing for Beijing, with growth slowing to its weakest pace this year. As of filming, I'm still making my way through the numbers and waiting for several key analysts to publish their thoughts as well. So we will do a deep dive into these numbers tomorrow. First up, for the main story, China has expelled its second highest ranking general and 8 other senior military officials in what analysts describe as General Secretary Xi Jinping's most sweeping military purge since the Mao Zedong era. The move displays once again Xi's efforts to eradicate corruption and, more importantly, enforce political loyalty within the People's Liberation Army, PLA, but also raises questions about the stability of his command and the readiness of China's armed forces. General He Weidong, vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, CMC, and a member of the 24-person Politburo, was stripped of his party and military posts for, quote, severe disciplinary violations and serious duty-related crimes, end quote, the Defense Ministry announced over the weekend. A 68-year-old general, unseen in public since March, a development we covered at the time, becomes the first sitting Politburo member investigated since 2017 and the most senior active duty official purged under Xi. His downfall was accompanied by the ouster of Admiral Miao Hua, former head of the CMC's political work department, and 7 other senior commanders, including former leaders of China's Rocket Force, Eastern Theater Command, the command that would be in charge in the event of an attack on Taiwan, and the Armed Police Force. The Defense Ministry accused them of crimes involving, quote, exceptionally large sums of money, end quote, describing the cases as, quote, extremely serious and profoundly damaging, end quote. All 9 will face court-martial. The Purge continues a campaign that has already claimed 3 of the 6 professional military officers who joined the CMC in its current term. Xi, the CMC's only civilian member, has made rooting out corruption and disloyalty a hallmark of his rule since 2012, a strategy that has simultaneously consolidated his personal control and sought to modernize a military still grappling with graft and factionalism. The timing is politically significant. The announcement comes days before the fourth plenum, which we just touched on, when party leaders are expected to discuss economic strategy and high-level personnel reshuffles. Analysts suggest replacements for these top-level purges may be unveiled during the session. Xi's campaign began targeting the PLA's nuclear and missile forces in 2023 amid reports that graft had compromised the reliability of Chinese armaments. Dozens of senior officers and defense industry executives have since been detained or dismissed, signaling deep structural rot across China's military-industrial complex. For Xi, the purge is both a show of strength and a test of control. His bid to build a world-class fighting force, as he puts it, capable of confronting the US and enforcing Beijing's claim over Taiwan, depends on an institution now engulfed in scandal, one he must rebuild even as he tightens his grip. But these moves are very dangerous for the leader, with one commentator warning that going much more could push the situation past its breaking point. And one more quick point on this, there are some commentators on YouTube channels that are claiming that actually this is a sign that Xi is in trouble because these were all Xi loyalists. There is frankly little evidence for such a claim, and this claim is contrary to mainstream consensus among top China defense analysts. Next up, we have covered some big opportunities on the channel before, but this next one, which we're going to cover over the next few minutes, may well be the biggest. This is the first time I have showcased a company in this industry, but it's just too interesting to ignore. This company is called Liberty Defense, ticker symbol LDDFF, in the US stock market. Shares are available on Interactive Swab, Fidelity, and E-Trade, to name a few. This is being covered early with cutting-edge patents and exclusive license at stake, with a price near all-time lows, down 87% in 7 months. This bullish thesis is 24 years in the making. Liberty Defense has raised $45 million, and its current market cap is only a third of that, and it has developed and begun commercializing one of the most competitive and innovative products of its kind, arguably in accordance with Trump's TSA mandate and DHS requirements to make Americans safe and airports efficient and much more travel-oriented. It previously raised millions of dollars at share prices 10 to 12 times the current price. Liberty Defense Holdings is addressing major security threats, and the government has already expressed interest in their products and solutions. This is the most important part of this. Liberty Defense is working closely with Trump's TSA in what could be a game-changing moment for the company. The Department of Homeland Security and the TSA are not only impressed with the company's products, the TSA has actually granted Liberty Defense a sole source contract, and with $6 million in grants. A sole source contract is a non-competitive agreement where a single supplier is chosen to provide a unique product because they are the only one capable of meeting the specific requirements. These contracts are typically thanks to the uniqueness, proprietary technology, or urgent needs that only one provider can address. Incredibly, the TSA has issued a mandate that airports must begin screening employees for explosive type threats, including metallic and, critically, non-metallic threats. The TSA has also inked a sole source contract for HDAIT upgrades to Liberty Defense, which is currently being tested by the TSA, with sales expected in the months to come. This upgrade is TSA's quest to retrofit about 1,000 body scanners with new body scanners. Liberty Defense Holdings specializes in concealed weapons detection technology and arguably stands at the forefront. How? Its flagship Hexwave system, derived from cutting-edge MIT Lincoln Labs research and enhanced through partnerships with the US Department of Homeland Security and Transportation Security Administration. Hexwave system is a walk-through portal that employs millimeter wave technology, advanced 3D imaging, and artificial intelligence to detect both metallic and non-metallic concealed threats. Unlike traditional metal detectors, which fail against plastic or 3D printed guns, Hexwave scans individuals in real time as they pass through, processing up to 700 people per hour without requiring them to remove jackets, shoes, or pocket items. This contactless, high-throughput design minimizes disruptions while maximizing accuracy, reducing false alarms and the need for invasive pat-downs. Liberty Defense secured an exclusive license for the technology. One of the first customers was the Los Alamos National Lab, but the most incredible new development occurred, as far as I'm concerned, when the TSA issued a mandate for roughly 173 airports around the country to screen their employees starting April 2026. That mandate is right around the corner, and the airports have yet to pull the trigger on Hexwave or on competitors' products, which means there is a chance sales are going to significantly come in the next few months. Investment in such a disruptive company by its very nature is a speculative move. High risk, but if successful, also high potential return, and as such it is worth doing research on this company. This is a sponsored feature. It is not individual investment advice. For more information on this company, including relevant disclosures, this is in the description below. A big thank you to Liberty Defense for sponsoring this episode of China Update. Okay, we now return to regular coverage. Next up, natural disasters have claimed 742 lives and caused direct economic losses of 217.7 billion yen, $29.9 billion US dollars, across China in the first 3 quarters of 2025, according to data from the National Disaster Reduction and Relief Committee and the Ministry of Emergency Management published over the weekend. Floods and geological disasters in north and southwest China accounted for most of the destruction, affecting 55.1 million people, although the overall impact was lighter than in previous years, down 45% from the 5-year average. Extreme summer weather wreaked havoc in northern provinces, unaccustomed to such intensity. The month-long period from mid-July to mid-August proved most destructive, responsible for nearly half of all economic losses and fatalities. Torrential rains and landslides in Beijing, Hebei, Shanxi, and Inner Mongolia caused widespread damage, while severe floods in Gansu and Inner Mongolia added to the toll. A 6.8 magnitude earthquake in Tibet earlier this year and prolonged droughts and heat waves further underscored China's growing vulnerability to shifting climate patterns. Experts warn that the increasing frequency of extreme weather is testing the nation's disaster preparedness systems and urban resilience, calling for stronger adaptation measures as weather risks intensify. Next up, Beijing is tightening oversight of what it calls disorderly price competition, what the rest of the world calls massive overcapacity, signaling a shift towards more coordinated market discipline across key industries. In a joint notice issued in recent days, the National Development and Reform Commission and the State Administration for Market Regulation warned that excessive price wars have begun to erode market order, allowing, quote, bad money to drive out good. End quote. The regulators reaffirmed that price competition remains an essential market mechanism until it distorts industry fundamentals. The new enforcement framework ranges from official guidance and key supervision to cost investigations and price inspections, with below-cost bidding explicitly prohibited. Companies are instructed to set prices, quote, fairly and lawfully, end quote, in line with supply and demand, while improving product quality and service. Industry associations under government guidance will also begin publishing cost benchmarks to anchor what authorities deem as reasonable pricing levels. This is one of the clearest signs yet that China's overcapacity issue is really bad and worrying policymakers. The market has so badly been distorted that the government now has to pour resources into policing companies so that they do not sell their products at prices that are too low. The clampdown follows months of brutal discounting in sectors from e-commerce to electric vehicles. Alibaba, Meituan and JD.com have already pledged to curb food delivery price wars after being summoned by regulators. In contrast, car makers have been slower to comply, even as officials warn that excessive undercutting contributes to deflationary pressure and international trade tensions. EV industry leaders have warned of massive consolidation over the next few years, with over 90% of the companies in the space facing collapse. We did a deep dive into the painful state of China's EV industry on Saturday. For now, the new rules promise relief for compliant firms from race to the bottom pricing, but at the cost of softer price competition and fewer bargains for consumers. As we have discussed in previous episodes, however, because this price competition, because this overcapacity is linked directly to China's growth model, it is unclear whether Beijing will see much success in trying to prevent it. The policy underscores Beijing's determination to stabilize industries, support margins, and prevent involution from undermining China's long-term economic vitality, and they need to as well. Several commentators from inside and outside of China have warned that if it is not fixed, this could be the structural crisis that brings down China's entire economic system. Okay, that is today's episode of China Update. Thank you so much everybody for watching. Have a good Monday, have a productive week, and I hope to see you for another episode tomorrow.